Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another viewer arsenal rating video. This is a series where you guys send us your bowling arsenals and we rate them in our categorical scale of strong smooth, strong sharp, medium smooth, and etc. If you guys want to send in your arsenal, there is a Google form down below in the description. I am a little bit backed up on these. Apologies for that. I'm trying to get through them as quickly as I can. We're going to see these videos coming at least every 2 weeks from here until the end of the year. So make sure to stay tuned if you're somebody who posted your arsenal. But otherwise, let's get right into it. Coming up next is Adam W. Adam is a righty one-handed balanced bowler. So as traditional as you can get, we have 6 bowling balls on the list right now. So let's put all the basic ones into categories that we know we've talked about. Basic probably isn't the right word to use there, but we're going to roll with it. This is an interesting one, is the original TNT. This was supposed to be the new medium smooth bowling ball from Roto, and it flopped harder than any ball before it. This ball was not well liked by people because it was coming off of the Idol. The Idol was arguably the best medium smooth ball at the time, minus the Phase 2. And then they came out with the TNT, and it just was not as well liked as that ball was. Or the Rubicon, which was also really well liked. Fantastic ball. I wish they'd remake that one as well. It's basically just a solid Gremlin. So when we get Gremlin solid, that's when we're going to see the Rubicon back. But anyways, Teal Rhino Pro, that is going to be a weak and smooth bowling ball. One of the final weak and smooth bowling balls Brunswick ever made because they don't like to fill this category. Zen, we're going to put in the medium and sharp category next. And then we have the 3D offset, the original remake of the 3D offset. This ball was weird. It was a sanded pearl, didn't really act like a pearl. I like to put in the medium and smooth category, personally, below the TNT. It's kind of a bridge in between the medium smooth and medium sharp category. So, Adam, this is what you have right now. Every category is pretty much covered, minus that weak and sharp category. I would recommend something below the Zen. The Zen is super, super strong for what it is. So I think something a little weaker might be in the cards. Something like a High Road 40, a Typhoon if you want to go that low. Road Warrior could also fit. That's in the medium sharp category, but it still is well below a Zen. Something like that might be able to help when that Zen is just hooking a little too early and leaving too many corner pins. Because as someone who used the Zen a lot, that's what that ball likes to do when it isn't good. When it's on, it's the greatest ball ever. When it's off, it's absolutely terrible. But Adam, really hope this helps. Coming up next is Andrew. Andrew is a two-handed rev-dominant righty with a good amount of bowling balls. So let's just start throwing things into category. Summit Peak is a medium sharp. Pitch Black is the Thane banging. Phase 2, medium smooth. We have a Gem, which fits in strong smooth. We have a Vibo, which fits in strong sharp. Still waiting for the Vibo remake. And then Tropical Surge at Midnight, we're going to put in the weak and sharp category. 3 more bowling balls left. Pretty loved bowling balls by a lot of people. Optimum Idol Solid, that goes above the Phase 2. Hammer Effect Tour. I've been putting this below the Phase 2 because of how strong the new Phase 2s are and the rumors that they're putting AI. It is an AI core in there. That's really where this Effect Tour now seems weaker. For me personally, it is a bit weaker than my Phase 2. And then a Reality that fits below the Gem. That was a very versatile asymmetrical ball where the Gem is very much strong, smooth, slow down lane. Overall, this looks fantastic. I actually have this 1, 2, 3 combo of medium smooth bowling balls. You generally only need 2 of these 3. You never need all 3. But overall, this is looking really, really good. The gap between the Summit Peak and the Tropical Surge is a little bit extreme. You might want to put like a High Road or a Road Warrior or something like that in that place because you do have 99% storm equipment. You want to go to a different company, that's where the Anger would really fit, or something like a Primal Rage Evolution. But otherwise, really, really nice arsenal. I really like what you have. The top half of your arsenal has a ton of synergy. I think just putting something in between that peak and that surge, or something below the Effect Tour as well, something a little bit weaker of a smooth ball, and you're going to be good to go. Next one up is Andrew. We have a ton of Andrews on today's video, by the way, but Andrew is a one-handed righty balanced bowler. 4 bowling balls here that we've talked about plenty of times in the past, so we're going to put those just directly into their categories, and it's easy because it's a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4 combo. Motive Evoke into the Black Widow Mania, into the Phase 2, into the Phase AI. Really good, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4 combo here. Looks fantastic. Good synergy between the Evoke to the Phase 2 and the Mania to the Phase AI. Now, next up, you just have the weak and smooth and weak and sharp categories. Get something a little weaker than that Phase 2, IQ Tour, Ion Pro, Venom Shock. Anger Solid. A lot of really good balls can fit there. And then something in the weak and sharp category, Road Warrior, High Road 40, Typhoon, Original Anger, Max Thrill Pearl. A lot of really good bowling balls that can fit there. But otherwise, Andrew, very quick to the point because your arsenal so far is in a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4 order. So nice job. Coming up next is Andrew R. Andrew is a one-handed speed dominant righty with 5 bowling balls that we are looking at today. Let's put some things into categories that we've talked about in the past. We know the Gem is strong smooth, Ion Pro is weak and smooth. Tour Dynamics is on the bottom half, that medium smooth category. It's kind of like a baby Ion Pro. It's the Tour Dynamics walked so the Ion Pro could run is really how I see it. Next up, which speed? Is this the high speed? That is the high speed. I still put it in strong smooth no matter what speed ball it was. They're all fairly smooth, fairly rolly, kind of like that rally, which is literally just a remake of the Speed series, which I'm still upset about. Then medium sharp is going to be the Summit Peak. So overall, as a speed dominant bowler, you have the right idea with having 2 bowling balls in the strong and smooth category. You don't really need this weak and sharp category. You can avoid that. What I would recommend though is something to fit in that strong and sharp category, something that's quicker, but still with that bigger core. You have a lot of good options there. Black Widow Mania is a fantastic one here. If you want to go really big, you could go the 900 Global Origin could fit there as well. You can still find an Identity for fairly cheap right now, $160, and that ball is all yours. A lot of bowling balls can fit in this strong and sharp category that I think will be good bridges because the Summit Peak is still a little smooth. And then, of course, the Speed series is very smooth as well. So I think you want something stronger, but a little bit quicker down lane to be able to knock out those corner pins early on in the league set. But otherwise, it's looking pretty good. Remember, stay focused on the strong and the medium bowling balls. I think having the Ion Pro as the bottom of the bag is a good idea. If you do need it, if your oil pattern at home is a little bit too dirty, it's a little bit less oil than you want, you could get something below the Summit Peak. Road Warrior, Ember, Rockstar Amped. You might like that Rockstar Amped a lot because it is stronger but is quicker down lane. That could fit well with a Summit Peak so that you have the bottom half of that arsenal covered. You don't really need much there, but just have 1 or 2 balls and you're home free. But Andrew, I really hope this helped. Coming up next is Anthony. Anthony is a righty one-hander who's speed dominant with a handful of bowling balls here. So we will throw things into the categories. Black Widow 2.0 we know is strong smooth. Hammer Effect is strong sharp. Black Hammer Urethane 78D is urethane. Then we have an old Ripcord. The Ripcord, I think, should fit in medium sharp. I think that's the best spot for that ball. They were a little bit weaker. Old Motive Pearl balls were not very angular, so it almost falls into medium smooth, but we're going to keep it medium sharp. Pure Envy coming up next. Now we have a lot of bowling balls into categories we already have covered. I would put the Pure Envy in front of the Black Widow. Even though it's a hybrid, it does have a bigger core, stronger cover, all that jazz. So I think it goes Pure Envy into the Black Widow 2.0. Jackal EJ coming in next. This one we are putting before the Hammer Effect. This ball wanted to just absolutely hook a ton. So we're going to put that in the strong sharp. That also could fit in the strong smooth category. It just kind of depends. Wicked Collision, we are going to put that after the Hammer Effect. That one also, they're very close in where they want to hook, just very different down lane reactions. That Wicked Collision is actually pretty good. It's just completely ignored because it has Deviate on the side of it. If it had a Hammer logo, it'd probably be doing really well. And then we have the Black Widow 3.0. Now, the one issue I have here is I've had a hard time with these 6 bowling balls on the top because they are all very, very close together. That is the one issue. Pure Envy, Black Widow 3.0, Black Widow 2.0, a ton of similarities. I don't personally think in an arsenal this size that you need all 3. Same with the strong and sharp category. These are 3 bowling balls that are going to act very close together. So I don't think you need all 3 of those as well. Now, the Ripcord is the only non-asymmetrical bowling ball you have. So I'd recommend getting rid of one of the strong smooth, one of the strong sharp. Try to get some symmetrical balls in there because these are all just way too close together and they're going to cause just confusion on which one to use because they all can be used in very similar situations, especially with only having an arsenal of this size. I would recommend trying to spread it out into the medium smooth, into the weak and smooth, even into the medium sharp categories. I think that would really, really help you out. But otherwise, really hope this helped. Coming up next is Austin. Austin is a two-handed balanced righty with a very interesting arsenal. So let's check this out. A couple bowling balls we've never seen before. Purple Hammer, we know and have seen many, many times. Phase 2, we've known and seen many times. Road Warrior, we know and have seen many times. You guys really like this Road Warrior. I'm trying to get the stats together, and I have somebody helping me trying to get the stats together for all the bowling balls you guys have, and I'm very excited to see what bowling ball is most popular among everybody. I think that'll be a really cool video to make. But then we have the good old DNA, my mortal enemy in the strong and smooth category. Eternity was the remake of the altered reality in the strong and sharp category. Then we have two interesting bowling balls here. We have the ridiculous pearl and then the fever pitch. I had to look up the ridiculous. This was a little bit before my time knowing bowling balls. This was a 2016 radical release where it was a high RG medium differential pearl. I actually really like this core design. This is something Brunswick doesn't do anymore at all. Like, it's very unfortunate. High RG, medium differential. This is kind of the same idea as that Hammer Anger, but a little bit stronger in the cover stock is the way it sounds from bowling this month. Fever Pitch was Storm's first attempt at remaking the Purple Hammer. It was a pearl pitch black is basically all it was. It was not good unless your name was Jesper Svensson for a lot of people, but it is a very straight bowling ball. So if you want to play dead straight up the lane, that's where that thing really excelled. But Austin, looking at everything you have, a little bit of an older of an arsenal, but you do have most of our categories covered. That's awesome to see. I mean, you could try to get a weak and smooth bowling ball to go below the phase 2 next. Ion Pro, IQ Tour, Anger Solid, Arctic Vibe, Max Thrill Solid if you want to go motive. A lot of bowling balls can really fit there, but I think something below that phase 2 is going to be nice because as a two-hander, even though you're balanced, that phase 2 is still pretty strong, especially the current ones that are on the market. So I'd recommend something a little weaker that might be able to help out. But otherwise, really hope this helps. Coming up next is DJ. DJ is a one-handed, no-thumb righty who is rev dominant, as a lot of one-hand no-thumbers are. So let's put some things into categories that we've already talked about in the past. Mesmerize and the strong smooth, Optimum Idle and medium smooth, the pink ball and medium sharp. Do we have any strong sharp? We do. We have a hammer effect in there. Do we have any weaker bowling balls? We have a hustle that we're going to put in the weak and sharp category, but the rest I think we already have. So let's start putting things into categories where they fit. Ethos Hybrid. This is on the bottom half of the medium and smooth list. It is a little bit quicker and later than a lot of medium smooth bowling balls, especially than that Oppie Idle. Vibo coming in next. It's going to go after the hammer effect. However, both of these do need to get moved because we do have the harsh reality pearl, one of the strongest bowling balls in the strong sharp category ever. Then we have an NV Tour, which fits in the strong and smooth category. May it rest in peace. Black Widow 2.0 Solid going right after it. Attention Star is going to go at the bottom half of the strong sharp category. GB5 Solid we're going to put after the Optimum Idle, but before the Ethos Hybrid. The GB5 is early, super early, but not as early as some would think. And then finally, we have the No Doubt Pearl. No Doubt Pearl is going to go... Honestly, it's going to go after the Optimum Idle Pearl now that I look at it. I think that's going to be a better spot for it. But looking at what you have, because you're rev dominant, my first recommendation is trying to fill out this bottom half of your arsenal. You have a lot of stronger equipment, which is good. That's going to be good for those first couple games, but you don't really have anything weaker than an Ethos Hybrid or weaker than a No Doubt. The gap between a No Doubt and a Hustle is a little bit big, but the gap between an Ethos and nothing else is very, very big. So I think a weak and smooth bowling ball is going to do you really, really well. A lot of really good options. You have a little bit of everything in terms of Brunswick and Storm. So I'd say like an Arctic Vibe fits there well. A Storm IQ Tour fits there really well. If you want to go a little cheaper, you could go with a solid Hustle in the Hustle Earth. That one has been very good for a lot of people. But I think that would be a good spot to be able to fill in the next part of your bag. The top half looks awesome. This looks excellent. You did really good on that front. But I think this bottom half is where you can add a couple more bowling balls, and then you're going to be good to go. All right, coming up next is Gary. Gary is a very tiny arsenal, one-handed balanced righty. We have a Jackalige, which we always put in the strong and sharp category. And then we have the Tank Rampage Pearl, which we put in the urethane category. So we have a lot of room to grow with this arsenal. Looking at it, you have a lot of categories you can fill. Just knowing you're balanced, I would recommend a medium ball next. I think some really good options since you do like motive, it looks like. Venom Shock, Black Venom, those are two fantastic medium and smooth options. If you want to go something a little quicker down lane, you could go with something like a Primal Rage or a Hyper Venom. I would recommend starting with some of those bowling balls, just one of those in each category. Then we can start growing a little bit more from there. Coming up next is Jack. Jack is a righty two-handed rev dominant bowler. So we want a few balls on the weaker end, but let's kick it off. Black Hammer is going to be in urethane, IQ Tour, the GOAT weakened smooth ball, Ion Max up in that strong smooth category. ProMotion, we're going to put in the medium smooth category. That is the slowest and smoothest bowling ball ever. Arguably. Phobia, OG Phobia, we're going to put in the medium sharp category. Higher differential, lower RG, but a symmetrical pearl. With how old it is probably going to be a little bit on the weaker end. And then our personal GOAT, the Scorpion Low Flare, is going to fit right before that IQ Tour. So this is where everything is right now. Looking at it as a rev dominant bowler, you have a lot covered. You don't really have a pearl though. That's the one issue. While the Phobia is a pearl, it is very, very old, so it's not going to be very quick down lane compared to some other balls. So I'd recommend something shiny to fit here. It can be your choice if you want it to be strong sharp, something after the Ion Max. If you want it to be medium sharp, something to fit alongside the ProMotion, or if you want it just to be weak, to pair alongside like the IQ Tour and the Scorpion Low Flare. If you want to pair it among these two, IQ AI is a really good choice. If you want to go something a little bit stronger, Black Widow Mania, you have RST Hyperdrive Pearl could fit really well in this arsenal, especially as rev dominant. That one's closer to the medium sharp category, so I think a lot of those spots could be really, really good for this arsenal. But otherwise, I really hope this helped. Coming up next, arsenal is Johnny A. Johnny is a one-handed righty with some really interesting bowling balls in the mix. So we're going to start putting things into categories where we know they fit and then talk about some of the weirder balls. So we know IQ Ruby and Attention Star. Those are weak sharp and strong sharp. Specifically, Hammerhead is going to be a medium smooth ball. Pitch Black is the old Thane banging. We have the Optimum Idol Pearl, Pepto-Bismol ball in the medium sharp category. We see a Black Widow in the strong and smooth. Otherwise, do we have a weak and smooth ball? We really do not. So let's start here and go down the list. Starting out with a Knockout. The Knockout was a medium smooth ball. It kind of has that melee jab cover core combo, but this is a smooth, solid version. It goes below the Hammerhead. It's like right in the middle / on the lower half of strength of that category. Road Warrior, we know, is in medium sharp, and the picture that I put on here was very large for it. Sneak Attack and the Raw. These are actually going to both go after the IQ Ruby in the weak and sharp category. They are both very weak bowling balls, but progressively weaker. It definitely goes IQ Ruby into the Sneak Attack, and then way below it is going to be the Hammer Raw, one of the lowest hooking bowling balls on the market that is reactive. Exotic Gem, that is going to go in front of the Attention Star. And the old Perfect Mindset. The Mindset series is weird. I don't know where to put these half the time. I'm going to put it in the strong and smooth category, but it could also fit in strong sharp. It's the hybrid one. The intense was the pearl, the perfect was the hybrid, and then the OG was just the solid. So, Johnny, this is where I'm seeing everything fit right now. As a one-handed righty, this looks really good. I don't think you need a weak and smooth bowling ball. I think the Knockout is weak enough. This is almost as symmetrical as you can get. Nice job with just like how many bowling balls are in each category. You don't need more than one urethane. You have 2 of everything else. Overall, I really like it. I think the next thing you need to look for is just what balls are starting to get a little old. We have a couple discontinued balls on this list. Perfect Mindset's been gone for a while. Exotic Gem's been gone for a while. Knockout's been gone for a really long time. Sneak Attack's been gone for a while. So you might have to start replacing those bowling balls as they start to get too many games on them. But otherwise, really good arsenal, Johnny. And our next arsenal is Jordan. Jordan has a ton of bowling balls here and a couple of really interesting ones. Well, let's kick it off with the Level. Level is going to be a weak and smooth bowling ball. We don't really know where that thing fits at the end of the day. Perfect Mindset we talked about is a strong and smooth ball. Summit Ascent is going to fit in the medium smooth category. We have the Purple Reactive. We're going to put that after the Level, although those balls are fairly similar in a lot of ways, kind of ironically. Purple Slammer, we know in the urethane list. Ultimate Wrecker, we know in the weak and sharp list. Zen, we've talked about in the medium sharp list. Do we have any strong sharp? We do. We have the old DNA Coil in the strong and sharp list. Good ball, better than the original. But we have all the categories covered. That's already a great start. So let's start putting some things into other categories. Hazmat coming up next. That is going to come after the original Zen. It's going to go Zen into the Hazmat Hybrid. This one's interesting. We have the Excalibur. That ball might be older than me. I'm not entirely positive. But we're going to put it at the bottom of the weak and smooth category because I have no idea what that thing would do in today's conditions. Nuclear Cell, that is the original Cell core with a weaker cover stock on a middle of the road E-Trex cover on it. Really good bowling ball. I think I just got rid of mine, unfortunately. But it's going to be in the strong and sharp category, but on the bottom half of it. Intense Fire coming up next. This one is going to go in front of the Nuclear Cell, but still after the DNA Coil. We have the Gateway. The Gateway was an international bowling ball. I had to do a little bit of research on it. It is TX22 solid, so it's similar to that Phase 2 cover, but a pretty strong asymmetrical core. I would put it above the Perfect Mindset. I think that cover is a little bit weak. It's honestly a pretty cool bowling ball. If I found one in 15 pounds, I might pick it up because it looks super, super cool. But I think I put that in front of that Perfect Mindset. And then finally, Wicked Collision. I'm going to put the Wicked at the front part of our strong and sharp list. I think that's going to be the best spot. So, Jordan, what we have for you, you have every category covered. That's awesome. I can't believe you have an Excalibur. That's kind of wild. Also, that Gateway is super cool. But you have every category covered right now. There is a little bit of a gap between your Perfect Mindset and your Gateway all the way down to your Summit Ascent. You might need like a Phase 2 there or a Rock Star since you have a lot of Storm stuff on here. I think that gap is a little bit big. The rest of the gaps, though, you have pretty much covered. You have your urethane, you have your weak and angular ball, you have your stronger bowling balls. Otherwise, it looks really good. I'd recommend using this chart to help determine what bowling balls you should replace as your next one. But otherwise, really hope this helps. All right, here we are with JR Santa Ana, who is a two-handed righty. We have a lot of bowling balls here. Let's start throwing things into categories where we know they fit and have already talked about. Ion Pro and Weak Smooth, Ion Max and Strong Sharp, Identity and Strong Sharp, or sorry, Strong Smooth for the Ion Max. Sublime Focus, Medium Smooth. Phase 2 we know, Lethal we'll wait on this guy. We'll put a Primal Rage Evolution in Medium Sharp. Do we have a Weak Sharp? We do have a Purple Slammer over in the Thane category. We do not. All right, let's start looking into everything. Start with the Phase 2. That ball fits below the Sublime Focus. The Sublime Focus is just so early. Lethal Venom versus these two. I would... man, that's tough. I would honestly put the Lethal Venom right after the Sublime Focus and right before the Phase 2. Those two, the Focus and the Venom, can probably switch a little bit. Those are kind of tough. Arctic Vibe right after the Ion Pro. We have one of the Supras. We're going to put the Supra actually in the Weak and Sharp category now that I think about it. Journey, we're going to put the Journey in front of the Primal Rage. That seems to be the better spot for it, in my opinion, but we are going to keep moving things around because we have the Phase AI. We're going to put the Phase AI before the Primal Rage Evolution as well, but not as early as the Journey. Attention Star, may it rest in peace, up in the Strong and Sharp category, but we're going to move both the Strong and Sharps because the Harsh Reality Pearl is definitely stronger than both. Then we get to a Physics Blackout. Dang it. All right, then we got to grab everything and move it back over because we have a Physics Blackout that's going to be fitting here as well. There we go. Then finally, we have the Road Warrior. Road Warrior we're going to put in the bottom of the medium and sharp category. So JR being a two-handed righty. And overall, I mean, this is really good. You have a pretty good spread of everything. Weak and sharp isn't used all that much. Strong, smooth don't use all that much, especially as a two-hander. So I think that looks really good right there. You really have the bulk of your arsenal in that middle of the category. You have a purple hammer, as you should as a two-hander, especially if you bowl tournaments. But overall, all these bowling balls are pretty new, so really, I don't have much for issues here, man. This looks really good. I'd be questionable on that Supra. I know the Super Series, even though it's weak, isn't like a typical weak ball. So if you need something around that range instead, a Typhoon or a High Road 40 is generally better for that. But otherwise, I mean, this looks fantastic. You did a really good job. Hopefully this categorization helps you picking out your next bowling ball. Moving on to our next arsenal, we have Rasheed. Rasheed is a two-handed righty balanced bowler. So we have a handful of bowling balls here. Let's start throwing things into categories where we know they fit. I believe this is the Pearl exponent. I'm not entirely, it looks like the Pearl exponent. We're going to put in weak and sharp then. We've talked about that one. Identity, we just talked about in strong and sharp. Gem is up in the strong and smooth, one of the best ASIMs of the last 5 or 6 years. Purple Hammer, we all know where that boy fits. Lethal Venom in the medium smooth, and that leaves us 2 more bowling balls. We have the Dark Web Hybrid, which is a medium smooth bowling ball. This had a pretty middle of the road core, very much a game breaker like core, and then a very slow hybrid cover stock. Even though it was hybrid, it was a very, very slow. Good ball, just very niche. Lefties liked it best. Attention Star fits right after the Identity. That's a really good 1-2 combo there. So looking at the arsenal, what I would recommend is some kind of pearl ball to fit between the Attention Star and the Exponent. Really having something there is going to be nice. You have a lot of really good options right now. You have a little bit of everything in terms of the companies. So if you want to go Motive, you have the Primal Rage. If you want to go Brunswick, you have the Crown Victory. You have the Gamebreaker 5 Pearl, something around that. Super Cuda Power Core Pearl. If you want to go Storm, you have things like the Ember, things like the Rockstar Amped. You could go down to a Road Warrior if you can find one on sale since it's discontinued. A lot of really good options, but I think that would really help out. You have a decent spread everywhere else. You might want to get something weaker than Dark Web's Hybrid as well, just in case if that's too early and too slow for you. But otherwise, I think that medium sharp category should be the next thing you go for. But otherwise, it looks really good as a start. Coming up next is Rene. Rene is a one-handed righty who is balanced. So we're going to start pretty small arsenal, which is good. We can just throw everything into categories we've talked about because all of the equipment is super new. So we've talked about everything here. It is a storm-only arsenal. We know Attention Star, strong sharp, Phase AI, medium sharp, Ion Pro, weak smooth. Road Warrior, we're already going to throw that after the Phase AI. We've talked about that before, where that's the weakest in the medium sharp category. Physics Blackout is the strongest in the strong and sharp category. The Road Grip XL we put at the start of the strong and smooth list, but we put the RST Hyperdrive Solid right after it. So as a one-handed balanced bowler, this is where everything fits for you, Ren. A little bit of a quick one today, but looking at everything you've got, you have a really good arsenal. Honestly, the gap between XL and Ion Pro isn't the biggest thing in the world because the XL is on the bottom of the strong and smooth list and the Ion Pro is on the top of the weak and smooth list. So yes, you could put something here, Phase 2, Rockstar, Cove, something like that. But really, it's not the biggest deal in the world with that gap right now. Then looking at your Pearl balls, you go Physics into Star, into Phase, into Road Warrior is really, really well done. That looks awesome. So really, I think what it looks like is it depends on what bowling balls you see that you have gaps between. If you do have a big problem where you start with the XL and you try to go down to that Ion Pro and the Ion Pro is too weak, but the XL is too strong, leaving too many corner pins, that's where I would recommend a Rockstar. If you run into situations where like, man, I have this Attention Star and the Phase AI just is way too weak, then you might need something like a Rockstar Amped or a Zen 25. Or if you run into situations where the Road Warrior or the Ion Pro are too strong, you need to go to something like a Hustle. That's where a Hustle would really fit. But overall, this looks really good right now. I think it's a great Storm Products arsenal right now. So really hope these tips help. Coming up next is Trevor. Trevor is a one-handed, rev-dominant, right-handed bowler. Good amount of bowling balls here for Trevor. So we'll put some things into categories where we know they already fit that we've talked about in the past. Phase AI, Phase 2, Phase AI, IQ Tour, IQ Ruby. Really good 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of the best lines in Storm's history. Black Widow Mania goes in the strong and sharp category. Black Widow 3.0 in the strong and smooth category. Again, one of the best lines in Hammer's history. Pitch Black down here in the Thane banging. We have 2 bowling balls remaining. The Tropical Surge Purple and the Pride Empire. Pride Empire, we are going to put this guy... Man, that's going to be tough. I think it goes below the Phase AI. Not by much, but I think it goes below the Phase AI. The Pride Empire was super, super weak. It was a mild asymmetrical core, but very, very weak cover stock. Then Tropical Surge Solid, we're going to put right after the IQ Tour. So this is what we have right now. You literally cover every single thing with some of the best bowling balls on the market today, Trevor. I don't really have much for you in all honesty. A lot of these are all brand new. You literally have Black Widow, Phase, and IQ, which are the 3 best lines in bowling right now. All you'd have to throw is an Evoke Hysteria, and you've got the entire Wombo combo or a Venom Shock. But overall, like, I can't picture a better arsenal. Nice job. Coming up next is Tyler, two-handed righty. We have 6 bowling balls in total here, so let's start throwing things into categories where they fit. Attention Star S2 is a strong and sharp ball. Phase 2 in the medium smooth. The old new blue, may it rest in peace in the weak and smooth category. Gone but never forgotten. It is a gorgeous color, just the ball was iffy for some people. We have one of the collisions. This one is the Violent Collision. The Violent Collision is a strong and sharp ball. I am going to put it after the Attention Star S2. I've been kind of all over the place with the S2 where I want to put it lower because it is weaker, but the ball wants to be smooth and a little bit earlier. It's weird. It's an odd ball. It's a really weird ball. I can't believe that didn't get discontinued before the original Attention Star. This one's just kind of, it does some odd things. But anyways, IQ we put in the medium sharp category, and the Hyperdrive Solid we put in the strong sharp category. So overall, Tyler, you've got a lot of categories covered. I love that for you. This looks awesome right now. The gaps that I would see would be between the Phase 2 and the new blue. There could be a pretty big gap there. That's where like an IQ Tour, Ion Pro, something like that would fit Ion Pro Solid. And then the gap between your strong sharp and your medium sharp. The Violent Collision is a very big core asymmetrical ball, and then the IQ is a very weak symmetrical shiny ball. So you could have a pretty big gap there. That's where like Rockstar Amped, Zen 25, Ember, GB5 Pearl. What else am I missing? Crown Victory, not as much. GB5 Pearl would be the big one there. Piranha Power Core Pearl. All of those bowling balls would fit in that gap. So if you feel like you have a pretty big distinction between those two, you might want to put one more ball in between. But otherwise, I really like the start you have. I'd say, I don't know if you really need this weak and sharp category right now. The IQ is pretty weak, but if you feel like you need something longer and quicker, that's where like a Typhoon would fit. So I really hope this helps. Really good Arsenal start so far. All right, we got to talk about this one for a second. So this was from our Google Forms that we do. Remember, you can sign up for an Arsenal down below. But this person put their name as your Zaddy. So whoever you are out there, nice job. One-handed right, balanced bowler. We have a lot of bowling balls on the list, so we're just going to start chucking some things that we know where they fit. Ion Pro, weak smooth. Black Widow 2.0, strong sharp. Black Widow Ghost, strong smooth. Black Widow Ghost is strong sharp, though. Purple Hammer and the Thane banging. Hammerhead, we're breaking things. Hammerhead, we're going to put in medium smooth. Anything else? Hammer Raw, we're going to put in the weak and sharp category, but the rest I think are already in categories. So let's kick it off. Black Widow Mania, I am putting that in front of the Black Widow Ghost. It's going to be a little earlier, but a heck of a lot quicker down lane as well. Ion Max, I put in front of the Black Widow 2.0. Black Widow 2.0 is fairly weak for the year 2025. That ball did come out in 2020, so that was when there was a little less oil on the lane. Hypnotize coming in next. This bowling ball I'm going to put in the strong sharp, but at the very, very front of it. I'm tempted to pick one of these up, in all honesty. I really like my Vaporize. I'm hoping to get an Energize, so I'm really thinking of picking up a Hypnotize. They're pretty cheap right now. Blue Coral Venom coming up next. This one's so hard. It's a hybrid, mild asymmetrical ball. It's not that angular. I think I'm going to put it in the bottom part of the medium smooth category. Very, very tough ball to decipher. Archetype Solid coming up next. I think the Ion Max still hooks earlier, but I think it goes Ion Max Archetype into the Black Widow. Black Widow Pink Thane. This actually goes in front of the Purple Hammer. It does hook earlier because of that massive, massive core. Black Widow 2.0 Hybrid. That actually is going to fit after the, no, we're going to put it here. We're going to put the Black Widow 2.0 Hybrid before the Mania, but also before the Black Widow Ghost. So right now, this is what your arsenal looks like. A lot on that strong category. I can tell you like spider bowling balls, which is a-okay. It makes sense. Otherwise, the top half looks really good. Bottom half looks pretty all right. There is a very large gap between your Black Widow 2.0 Ghost and your Hammer Ross. You might need to put something in that medium sharp category because the Raw is like the bottom of the weak and sharp category in terms of strength. So I think something there would fit really well. Unfortunately, there's no Black Widows for you to put there. You could grab the Black Widow 2 or V1. That one's a little bit quicker down lane. It's going to be after the Blue Coral and after the Hammerhead, so that could fit well if you want to stick with the Black Widows. If you don't, something like a Hammer Anger would fit really well here, something like a GB5 Pearl. Anything in that realm is also going to fit. Ember, maybe, Rockstar Amped. A lot of balls can fit there. But otherwise, the rest of it looks really good. You did a really good job here. You have a little bit of everything. So I think your asymmetricals, you don't need to worry about buying an asim anytime soon until the new Black Widow is announced in January, probably. But really hope this helped you, man.